Alright, what is up guys, and welcome back to another Zoids review. This is going to be a comparison between all of the different types of Command Wolf model kits that I own, and a sort of better, more updated Command Wolf video than the ones I have on the channel previously. I've already done a video that features the wind-up Hasbro Command Wolf AC right here, and one that features the HMM Command Wolf right here, but they're both super old and were made before I bought this current house that I'm in, and made with a production quality that is significantly below what I'm able to make now. So I wanted to make a better, more complete Command Wolf video. And I also, within the last 2 years or so, purchased this off of another collector. This is the 1999 NJR Takara Tomy wind-up Command Wolf. That is the base stock version, the white version, which is pretty cool. I was really looking forward to having one of those. And then I recently had a major career change, something I've been working on pretty much all year, which has no doubt delayed the production of several videos across all of my channels. But I was working temporarily at a hobby store during one of those transitions, and one of the last things that I bought before leaving the company was we had traded in some already pre-built HMMs. And I bought 2 of them. There were several more, but most of them were either molds I already had, or stuff I had in the backlog I hadn't built yet, or stuff I just straight up couldn't afford. And one of the ones I did buy was the HMM version of the Command Wolf AC. So I have 3 out of the 4 different HMM Command Wolves ever made, and I will talk about the 4th one, but there are several other wind-up Command Wolves that I do not own, and at this point do not plan to own, but I will talk about them. And so I hesitate in calling this the ultimate Command Wolf comparison, because I don't have nearly all of the different Command Wolves that exist, but I have at least one of each mold, except for the Modeler Spirit Series Command Wolf, which I will also talk about, and if I would actually love to get my hands on one of those. And I'm planning to do a similar comparison with the Saber Tiger, and maybe even the Shield Liger. And with the Saber Tiger, I do have the Modeler Spirit Series version to talk about. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the lore. So, in the original battle story, the Command Wolf was not part of the Helix Republic's arsenal at the beginning of the war against the Xenobus Empire. It was later implemented to innovate and sort of retire some of the more obsolete Zoids that were used for frontline infantry, such as the Godos and some of the other smaller, slower ones. So the Command Wolf was fast, it was versatile, it could potentially operate with only one personnel being in control of it. So if it was lost in battle, you would see a significantly less loss of life from the result of a combat casualty. And although the model kit does depict here a secondary gunner position right here, the anime and the video games don't depict that, so it might be either a difference in continuity or just a difference in what the model kit represents versus what the lore represents. I'm not 100% sure on that, and this remains true among the huge variety of different weapons that the Command Wolf can equip. So it's very versatile in terms of equipment. It can equip this standard 20mm anti-Zoid turret right here, which is a very standard weapon, and this is the HMM reimagining of this weapon, which does look a lot cooler. And then we have the AC cannon, which is this double-barreled cannon with some aerodynamic fins on the side right here for a version of the Command Wolf that's equipped with boosters. It needs those additional stabilizers on the turret, and this is a slightly more powerful weapon, although not one that I prefer in terms of look or gameplay in the Zoids Battle Legends games, but we'll get to that. And then it was also able to be equipped with this weapon right here, the long-range rifle, which is extremely powerful and versatile. And the long-range rifle, both of these 2 weapons actually are included with the regular white Command Wolf HMM, and the Command Wolf AC wind-up version also comes with the 20mm AC anti-Zoid turret as well. Actually, so does the wind-up version of the Irvine Command Wolf here, which I do not own, but it comes with the wind-up version of the long-range rifle and this turret as well. So quite a variety of weapons that it can be equipped with. So the Command Wolf in the battle story was not as effective against the newer Xenobus Zoids as the Republic would have liked, but it did sort of innovate and set design standards forward quite a bit for frontline soldier type Zoids. You didn't have a slow crawling, upright dinosaur Zoid with an easy target. You had this fast, nimble wolf type that could fight with melee up close and had a variety of different angles it could shoot its weapons from, and just so much better. But it was outmatched by a lot of the early Xenobus era Zoids as well, and they were actually thinking about retiring it and implementing the new Hound Soldier Zoid, which is a model kit I'm definitely curious to get my hands on one day perhaps. But there was that massive meteorite impact that wiped out a good portion of the Republic's means of production, and so they did not have the resources to continue to manufacture the Hound Soldier, and decided it would be cheaper and more realistic, more efficient to just upkeep the supply of command wolves they had in the field and continue to rearm them and send them back out into the field. The Midnight Blue AC Command Wolf was more of a Special Forces type version, and there was also the Command Wolf Mark II, which has a model kit that was released only in the 80s version, and it is similar to this version right here, although it is a different shade of white and has the blue and gold that we come to know from the Shield Liger Mark II and the Bearfighter Mark II, and those three Zoids just look fantastic next to each other in that color deco, and I think that is like the definitive color deco for the Helic Republic for sure. And apparently by the time that Gunter Prozen tried to overthrow the Emperor of the Xenobus Empire, almost all of the command wolves in the field had been eliminated, which is unfortunate. But in terms of the anime, the command wolf was much more efficient and much more prolific in the Helic Republic's forces. So we see big armies of command wolves, huge squadrons of them all side by side, marching towards enemy forces. Command wolves are very numerous. They're very effective. And there's also a lot of civilian command wolves in the anime in Chaotic Century. We see sort of this desert tan color civilian command wolf that maybe belongs to some mercenaries or things like that. And maybe it wasn't like given to civilians. Maybe they stole them from the Republic. But it just goes to show that the command wolf is prolific and versatile, and there's a lot of them out there. And it is generally this workhorse for the Helic Republic for sure. We meet the character Irvine in the Chaotic Century anime, who has a custom deco command wolf, as you see here, equipped with a long-range rifle. Irvine tries to be a mercenary / smuggler and tries to avoid larger skirmishes and just is a bit of an opportunist. But he used the command wolf to great effect until, of course, it was destroyed by the Genobreaker, where the Genobreaker picked it up in its claws and nearly snapped it in half, which caused critical damage to its Zoid core. And the only way to save the Zoid core is to transfer it to a new machine where it could continue to thrive. And so they did that, and that's how the Lightning Sykes was innovated in the anime, which is completely different from how the Lightning Sykes was innovated in the battle story. On to the video games. I guess I should say as well, in the anime, in New Century Zero, we first see the command wolf in possession of the Blitz team. We have the character Brad who uses it, and I believe that that's why when we got the Hasbro command wolf, we got the AC version right here as more so of a tie-in to New Century Zero and to Brad's command wolf, which he uses through most of the series until he gets the Shadow Fox. And I believe, if I recall correctly, there is also a blue command wolf Brad special version that is out there, but this is not that version. This version is specifically the command wolf AC, which has artwork depicting the battle story. The command wolf is kind of underwhelming in that series, and it is generally stock standard cannon fodder type Zoid by the power scaling of New Century Zero. And we do see the command wolf appear in Fusers and also Genesis briefly, with very minor appearances. So in terms of the video games, in the Zoids Battle Legends series, the command wolf is pretty effective in terms of its speed, maneuverability, and the versatility of the weapons it can equip. Like I said before, if you equip the long-range rifle on the Command Wolf in Zoids Battle Legends or Versus 3, you can get through majority of the game with that setup, with the long-range rifle or the dual sniper rifle or something like that. The fact that it can equip the dual sniper rifle, one of the most powerful weapons in the game, really speaks to its versatility, but it severely lacks HP and defensive capabilities. It has pretty weak armor and overall HP, and so there's lots of tougher encounters and boss encounters, such as the Ultrasaurus in Zoids Versus 3, where if you get hit by one of its more powerful attacks, it can one-shot you potentially, which is not where you want to be. So, but it is overall incredibly useful. And then in the it's pretty good in the Zoids Fusers arcade game, where it can its primary weapon is the missile pods it has on the side, as well as the 20mm cannon on top, and it's pretty fun to play as in that game. It's Zoids Infinity Fusers, that's the name of that game. And in Zoids Assault, your initial loadout of Zoids for that strategy game does consist of multiple Command Wolves, and they are in a unique desert deco as well. But what's interesting about them is they lack certain details that make them look more animal-like on the original Zoids, and they make them look more military-like. They make them look more like tanks. For instance, their ears are missing. They don't have their ears at all, and the cockpits are completely opaque. They're not translucent like they are on the original Zoids. Zoids Assault went for a very interesting art style that I don't think a lot of people liked, but it was an interesting take. But what's interesting about Zoids Assault is the enemy uses Command Wolves as well, which I always found to be not a decision I agreed with. I always wish that they would have made the two armies in Zoids Assault as asymmetrical as possible, to where no Zoids were shared between the two. But the standard stock infantry Zoid for both sides in Zoids Assault is the Command Wolf, even though later in the game you'll fight things like Red Horns on the enemy side, and you'll have things like the D-Bison and the Shield Liger on your side. So that about does it for media appearances. As far as the model kit itself, we have the original, of course, the wind-up version right here. This one I got from a collector who was selling it about 2 years ago. It was actually, I think, a mother selling her child's collection, but this one had to have been imported from Japan because this one was not sold in the US, and this was a US-based seller. And he did a decent enough job of building this. He is missing the other exhaust pipes right here, and which is unfortunate. It's actually really funny that it has both of its little Android pilots, but does not have the exhaust thing right here. I think if you lose anything, you lose the little pilots, which are still luckily stuck in the turret up here. And none of the pegs that the turret attaches to are broken, which is interesting with these as well. There's also a few caps that are missing, but overall, I love the stock white look of this guy. He just looks super cool to me. The wind-up motor causes him to walk, and depending on where you have his head angled, if you have his head angled up here, down here, or down here, will be a different gear function for the wind-up motor. So when he's all the way up here, he walks really fast. When he's down here, he walks slower, and when his head is all the way down here, he will crawl in sort of a stalking motion, which is a really cool feature, even if the wind-up motors don't work particularly well. Of course, his mouth opens and closes. The cockpit opens and closes, and there's this little control stick that flips forward like so, where the pilot can kind of be really snug in there very well. And then the tail moves independently. It's not connected to the wind-up function at all. But yeah, really cool little guy. This is actually not the color deco of the original 80s version, as you probably expected by now. The original 80s version had a more brownish translucent color to the cockpit, whereas the 1999 Takara Tomy NJR version has this orange color we've come to associate with the anime and the more modern versions of the Zoids. But interestingly, the Modeler Spirit series of Zoids elected to pick the older 80s deco, the translucent brown version, so that version is more synonymous with the 80s version. And the Modeler Spirit series is basically another series of complex model kits similar to the HMMs, but instead of them being a 1/72nd scale, they are 1/144th scale. So it's the equivalent of like a real grade Gundam in terms of size and build complexity. They do not scale very well next to other Zoids at all. And they have an interesting compromise in terms of detail. They are more detailed than the original wind-up kits, but they are less detailed than the HMMs. It's a really interesting middle ground, which creates some interesting results for certain Zoids compared to others, and I'll show some of those off when we get around to it. But like I said, I do not own the Model Spirit Series Command Wolf, even though I have wanted it for quite a while now. So, on to the HMM Command... Well, I guess I should talk about some of the other variants of the wind-up version first. So there's the 80s version, there's this version... There is, of course, this version. There's also the Empire Command Wolf, which is in red and has the long range rifle with a bright green cockpit right here. There's also an HMM version of the Empire Command Wolf, which was also one of the kits traded in with this guy, but he's very expensive secondhand, so I couldn't realistically afford him, although I really would like to. And there is also, of course, the wind-up version of the Irvine Special, which did get a Hasbro allocation, but it was one of the last Zoids to do so. So it's pretty rare. It's not super expensive, but it is a lot less common than this wind-up Command Wolf right here. There was also the 30th anniversary special Command Wolf, which is the last reissue of the wind-up version, released all the way in 2013 of all things. And it is a green color deco wind-up Command Wolf that features a newly molded weapon, a railgun on the back of it, which is pretty cool. So, onto the HMM version. This is the HMM standard Command Wolf. This is not the most recent printing of this, although I think it is a Markings Plus version. There are several different print runs of this guy, and there was actually one recently reprinted within the last 2 years or so. So don't overpay for this guy. He has been reprinted ad nauseum and should be able to find one unbuilt for around $50-ish. I wouldn't pay more than that for this guy if you can help it. But yeah, just really well done HMM. The way that it brings the details of the original version to life and modernizes them is just absolutely spectacular. The gray really pops out. I don't know how I feel about the orange caps, but they definitely pop a lot more compared to the black caps of the standard version. The nice little silver on the exhaust things back here. And this guy also comes with a lot of optional parts. So again, this version of the Command Wolf, the white version, comes with all of the weapons and accessories associated with the other versions of the Command Wolf. So it comes with the boosters and the other weapons that I mentioned earlier. But it also comes with this little machine gun right here that can be attached to the side. It actually does have a spinning, rotating barrel. And there's also like a little missile pod you can peg into these pegs over here. I really like the neck details. Unfortunately, I cannot recall too much of what the construction of this guy was like because it's been several years since out of all the 3 HMM Command Wolves right here, this is the only one I actually built with my own 2 hands. The other 2 I bought secondhand pre-built from other collectors. And I remember it being a very smooth build process, probably the most smooth one I had had in my collection up to that point, which was really refreshing. And I did unfortunately leave some nasty little nubs and stuff like that on this kit when I finished it. So I recently, just this morning before recording this, went and cleaned up a bunch of these guys, especially this one. He had some ugly nubs all over him, so I tried to clean those up as best I could. But yeah, couldn't recommend this guy more. The only issue I found with him that I do remember from his construction is down here there are these hoses that connect to this sliding piece right by his, I guess, crotch area, and they just don't seem to want to line up and stay in there very well at all. Which is a little bit disappointing. I don't know quite how I feel about that. On to this guy, which of course is the Hasbro wind-up Command Wolf AC. This is probably the one that most people had as a kid, including myself. This was the second Zoid I ever built in my life, and he is a little worse for wear as a result. So he there's quite a few things that are broken on him. So right here, of course, he's missing an entire armor panel because the peg broke off right there that holds it on. I could probably just glue it on, but I'm not sure where that piece is. And then the peg that attaches the turret also broke off. So this turret is glued on. I'm not going to attempt to rotate it. The stickers are placed rather haphazardly, and luckily I didn't put the stickers on either of the other 2 ones I just showed off. And I'm not really that big of a fan of the stickers on Zoids much anymore. But overall, could be a lot worse. He's not in that bad condition considering everything over the years. It's just, and I wasn't particularly rough with him. It's just, when you have like a a brother that doesn't respect your stuff and kind of trashes it, and then you're also kids and you want to play with these things, and you don't see them as collectible model kits that you'll still care about 25 years later. So, or actually, hell, 30 years later, just about. No, not quite 30 years later, 20-ish years later. Anyway, this guy right here, of course, is the HMM Command Wolf AC, which, again, I did not build this one, and the previous owner appears to have gone in and done some panel lining. You can see on the little fins up there, the black is not normally there. Around there, that white circle around there is not normally there. There's a bunch of black detailing in here, and at a glance it does look good, but I really wish they would have left it well enough alone, because, and I hate to be this petty, but it's like you can tell, you can just tell, and I just don't like that about it. I wish it was just kind of left stock, but at a distance it does look pretty nice. And one of the things I was extremely worried about with buying HMMs secondhand is things that are basically ruined due to poor construction from the previous owner. So joints that are loose, or pieces that are where the tolerances are very loose because they were clipped incorrectly or something like that. And generally I haven't had that problem, but this one is a bit loose and I'm not that crazy about it, but at least he doesn't have like legs and stuff falling off. Nothing will be as bad as my original Van Bladelager HMM that I built that I just completely messed up, as you guys know. But on over here onto the HMM Irvine Command Wolf. This guy's rock solid. My friend Brad did a great job building him, and he eventually sold him off to me along with some other Zoids, and I've talked about that in a video dedicated to this guy. Very awesome color deco for this one. I'm really a big fan of this one a lot. And in addition to the standard Command Wolf cannon having a little cockpit for a secondary pilot, so does the long range rifle as well. But we know Irvine's not taking anybody along for the ride with him, and there's also a unique Irvine pilot in there. And there's been some controversy over the last several years about the fact that Takara Tomy does not seem to be interested in reissuing any of the HMMs based on characters from the anime. So you have like the Harry Champ you have like the Harry Champ Darkhorn, and the Thomas D. Bison, and the Irvine Command Wolf, and the Van Bladelager, and the Raven Genosaur, and it seems like they either are not interested in reissuing those, or they don't have the rights to use the characters from the anime, and they only have the rights to use what is in the battle story, because all of that belongs to them. They're the parent company of it. But I think it's the theory of some that like they can't reissue those, and so therefore things like those unique pilots are scarce and valuable. So particularly the organoids that come with the Van Bladelager, the Raven Genosaur, and the Psycho Genosaur that has Reese and the other two organoids are those organoids go for a lot on secondhand market, because unlike these guys, they will not be reissued, which is kind of a shame as far as we know. I also pointed out when I did the video on the HMM art book that when they did reissues of some of the model kits that were originally based on the anime, such as the Liger Zero, that they replaced the artwork and removed references to the anime from the artwork and made it more generic, more focused on the battle story. So that is interesting. But yeah, love these guys. They're awesome. Bunch of cool little dogs. When I was getting ready to do this video, I had my breakfast set down. It was a homemade like bacon, egg, and cheese bagel. Set it down, and I set down the last Command Wolf, and I didn't realize I had made. I'll probably try to show the picture here, but I made this like perfect circle of them like surrounding the bagel, and I'm just like, yeah, this is typical dog behavior. But yeah, I think that about does it for this, though. Let me know what you guys think. I'm planning to do another one of these with the Saber Tiger. And there are still plenty more Zoids videos and HMM videos to come. As of the time of recording this, the HMM Koenig Wolf is finally out, and I finally have my hands on it. I'm actually so excited to build that thing that I may jump it ahead in my lineup and build it much sooner than some of the other ones in my backlog, which is kind of a shame to those in the backlog I spent money on. but it's the Koenig Wolf, and I'm just so excited. And I'm curious to see if the double sniper rifle will fit on other types of Zoids. I'm pretty sure the dual sniper rifle HMM customized parts kit will fit on the HMM Command Wolf. I've seen some pictures of it, so I'm definitely looking forward to showing that off. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.